Awesome. All right, I'm going to throw over to Toya and she's going to kick us off.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe. Hey, everyone. Hope you're keeping nice and warm on this cold Saturday. All right, so I'm going to be making this salted chocolate cashew butter tonight. So I've already got it saved into my health created collection. So it's actually not an Australian recipe. So to be able to bring this one up, you need to be able to just untick Australia and it will come up. It does sound good, doesn't it? I haven't made this one before, so not tonight. So I'm looking forward to making it myself as well. All right, so I'm going to start cooking. All right, so it says 2.5 ounces of coconut oil. So I've already got that measured. So the beauty of the TM6 is that it automatically transfers the weight into the ounces. You don't have to actually change it from grams to ounces yourself. It will do it automatically for you. So I'm going to place that in. All right, so now I'm going to put my lid on and I'm going to melt my coconut oil for 1 minute on 140 degrees Fahrenheit on speed 1. All right, so if you were to be melting your coconut oil on the stove, how long do you reckon it would take for the stove to warm up and for it to be able to melt? So if you just want to pop it in the chat, how long it would normally take you to melt your butter, your coconut oil, or anything else you need to you would be melting on your stove. All right, so 36 seconds to go. Yes, it would normally take about 10 minutes. So this will help save time by doing it in your Thermomix. So I can put my coconut oil in and I can walk away knowing that it's going to heat up and it's also not going to burn. And it's going to get to the precise heat that I need it to as well. I don't have to guess. All right. Next is, I'll show you that I've melted my coconut oil. I'm not sure how well you can see that being a clear liquid. All right, so I'm going to put in my 13 ounces of roasted. Yeah, sorry. Little Miss decides she wants to help. All right, there we go. Hello. All right, put in the, oh, that's all right. 13 ounces. All right, next, we're going to put our lid on and we're going to grind our cashews. All right, next. So for 8 seconds on speed 10, so it's going to be a little bit noisy. All right, who else's kids like to be able to help with their Thermomix? All right. Grinded out the cashews. So it's the exact same thing that you do for your peanut butter. So pop in the chat who have actually made their own peanut butter. All right, scrape down the sides. Now it wants me to put in 1.5 to 2 ounces of maple syrup and 2 to 3 teaspoons of cocoa powder. So it needs to be 70% cocoa to taste. So I've already combined my maple syrup and my cocoa just to make it easier. So I'm going to pour it straight in. All right, hang on. All right. Next, I'm going to put the lid back on. All right, so now for 30 seconds on speed 6, I'm going to blend. So it's a little bit noisy on this end. All right, next. So your cashew butter you can serve with sliced apples. If you've got some sliced apples in the house, it's perfect for that. Make it an extra healthy treat. All right, so I've scraped down my sides, and now I'm going to make it creamy for 1 minute. All right. What else could you use it on? I'm not 100% sure, actually. I don't see why you can use it on banana, whatever you like to put your, I guess like peanut, whatever you use sort of peanut butter on, you could put it on. Jo might have a few ideas. I think Jo's used it before, so she might have some ideas on what else you could put it on.
On a spoon is really good. It is so yummy. You'll be surprised. It's like Nutella, but not Nutella. Like it's salty, it's sweet. It's, you know how Nutella's that good, you can just eat it straight out of the jar. This is like that. It's different, like salty, but it is it is delicious. But no, I was putting it on banana, on apple, depending on your sweet, you can even try it on like celery or something like that. But it's just a really nice sweet spread. So like even on like a like rice crackers or toast and things like that as an alternative to like a sweeter Nutella or something like that. But it's really, really yummy. And I used it in cooking, like where I'd usually make a nut butter. I'd just throw in some of that if I had it in the fridge as well.
And there you go. That's the salty chocolate cashew butter made. So all I need to do now is just store it into a airtight container and put it into the fridge. And then when you want to use it, just make sure that you let it to come down to the room temperature, just to make it easier for you to be able to spread it on whatever you're going to use it for. Alrighty, thank you, Jo.
Awesome. Thank you, Toya. That looks delicious. Has anybody here made it before? Let me just pop this up. There we go. No, it doesn't look like it. Does anyone make nut butters usually? Like, anyone here make cashew butter or peanut butter themselves in their Thermi? It's one of probably the most basic things that you can do is making something like nut butters, nut meals and that sort of thing. There we go. Megan makes peanut butter. That's awesome. As soon as you start to buy those packaged nut butters and things like that, they are full of additives. Have any of you read the labels when you go to the supermarket and you go to buy peanut butter? Pop it into the chat box if you have. I'm just going to give you guys a little bit. Now this is an old one that I've had in my cupboard. So this is just from Coles, like a Coles smooth peanut butter. So from the outside, that looks like it's going to be pretty healthy. Doesn't say that it has additives, doesn't say that it's sweetened or anything like that. As soon as you look here in the ingredients, first thing is peanuts, sugar, hydrogenated soybean, oil, salt, vegetable emulsifier, palm oil, all of those things just in peanut butter. I can tell you only need one ingredient to make peanut butter, and that's peanuts. So why are you paying to have all of that? This absolutely drives me crazy that your supermarkets sell this. They advertise it as plain peanut butter. They don't say it additive peanut butter. They don't say sweetened peanut butter. They sell it as just peanut butter, but it's not. It has so much stuff added into it. That's what you're paying, and that's what you're putting into yourself. Exactly, Temi. As soon as you go to the health shop, then you're paying double the price. It's ridiculous. This is one thing. I'm all about, like, I'm really passionate about healthy food, cooking food from scratch, and helping other people to learn how to do that themselves and do it in an easy way. So the Thermomix for me blew my mind in being able to do this so easily. So this doing things like that is something I'm really passionate about. Cashew butter, I have seen cashew butter advertised for about 5 or 6 times the price of what you pay for cashew nuts, an absolute insane amount for a tiny little jar of cashew butter. And I guarantee you it had more than just cashews in it. I can go and get a big packet of cashews, dry cashews. I can even roast them myself if I want to, and make cashew butter. You just saw Toya do it. That had extra things. It also melted down coconut oil, but straight cashew butter or peanut butter, you're looking at 2 minutes in Thermomix. So why would you go and buy it? It is one thing that I absolutely love, is making those just staple ingredients and just making them in your house. It's so good. You want to get creative, you've got your tahinis, and you can make sunflower oil and sunflower spread and seed. It's a nut and seed spread on cookie dough. Have a look at it. It's beautiful as well. But there's so much you can do there with nut butters. And they're a great little sweet treat. If you're trying to kick the sugar a little bit, there is nothing better than a spoonful of a really nice nut spread, even on a bit of fruit or something like that. And it will give you that sweet hit. It'll give you that bit of protein, fill you up, keep you full, but it won't give you that big drop that your commercial spreads and things full of sugar will give you as well. So they're a really, really good alternative and a great thing to get the kids started on too. So what I'm going to do, you can't see my screen great, but I'm going to make the beef and mushroom stroganoff. Now, who's made this before? Yeah, you're exactly right, Toya. Nothing more satisfying. It's awesome, isn't it? Drop it into the chat box if you've made this beef and mushroom stroganoff. Now, I love this one because stroganoff's not something that I would traditionally have had. Generally, it's served, with pasta or mashed potato and those sort of plainer carbs. I love to add lots of veggies into my meals. So you're going to see tonight, I do not stick to this recipe at all. I go way off stray and add all sorts of extra things in. That's how I cook. I live out of town. I'm not going to duck to the shops to buy something. And I like to get a bit creative with my recipes. So this one starts off with cabbage noodles underneath it, which I really, really like. If you're not keen on cabbage, you could use, I've tried this with spinach, with different things you could do, cauliflower rice, veggie rice. You could serve it with sweet potato, mashed potato, pasta, whatever suits you. But if you haven't tried these cabbage noodles, give them a go. So very, very first step here is your Savoy cabbage. So I did this just before we jumped on. So Savoy cabbage, you just get this at the supermarket. You can even use like a Wombok or another type of green cabbage if you struggle to get the Savoy. And I've done some purple cabbage as well. I love the flavour of your purple cabbage, so I thought I'll mix mine up and do a little bit of both. So you just cut these fine, sort of like shred them so that they go a bit like pasta. All depends on how thin you want it. And you're wanting anywhere from 300 to 500 grams. Remembering this Varoma fits a lot in there, so you can bulk it up or take it down as much as you need to for who you're feeding. So that's your very, very first step. And then you're going to chop up some fresh parsley. Now, because it's nearly 8 o'clock at night, I'm not going to be having this for dinner tonight. I'm going to portion this up, and this will be lunches or dinners for me throughout the week. So I'm actually going to leave that garnishing of parsley out, and I'll do it. I'll put some parsley on as I go when I serve it up. So let me quickly have a look in the chat box. Can I shred in the thermo? No, it won't shred, Tammy. It'll chop it up. So if you don't mind it being, it's still good. Like you can still chop it like on a speed 4 or 5. Will still give you a really chunky chop. Like it won't be tiny pieces, but it won't be sort of that long, stringy, more pasta-y base. So it just depends on how you want to have it for this one. Yeah. So the next step on here is to chop your parsley. Now, this is a little tip for those who've had their Thermomixes for a while. You'll probably know this, and you can't see my screen very good, so you might not be able to see this at all. But anyway, just looking at your recipe, you can see there I have the beef stroganoff up. If I scroll down and I want to jump in, so I don't want to start at the beginning because I want to skip that cabbage. I want to skip the parsley, and I want to jump in down here. Instead of having to press next, just click on the step that you'd like to go into and it'll jump you straight in. So we're straighting up to here to 200 grams of brown onion. So I've got my onion here. This is just 2 smallish onions. I don't stick exactly to it. It's a little bit over, it doesn't matter. And we've got about 30 grams of oil. Yeah, it is, Carissa. It's an awesome alternative. It's really, really low carb, but it's also it's really healthy. It's a great way to get some veggies in, and the cabbage goes so nice in this recipe. It doesn't just go soggy like some of those sort of pasta alternatives go, but it stays sort of crunchy. It stays really, really nice. All right, so lid on, and our splash guard as well. Has anybody not used their splash guard yet? Pop it into the chat box if you've not used your splash guard. And this is going to use the high heat. So this is going to actually brown off these onions. You haven't yet. You have to use it, Tammy. You have to use it. So we use a splash guard when you're doing any of your high heat work. So this is a little bit different to the TM5 and the TM31. So right now the blades are stopped. They actually stop when you're doing the high heat, and it reaches a really high temperature really quickly. So that's not quite 30 seconds in and it's already starting to sizzle. That's how quickly that oil has heated, which means that you're getting a really nice brown effect really, really quickly. So this is sizzling. The blades will rotate again in a second. They'll flip all that onion over and then they'll keep sizzling, and it goes on like that until the mode's finished. So when you are using these high heat steps, stick relatively close to the ingredient amounts. If you go and add in double the onion for this part, it just won't brown properly because it's just not going to work. So generally, in your Thermi recipes, you can double things 1.5 and you just adjust your cook time. With your high heat, those specific steps, you're best to try and stick to the quantity. Repeat the mode if you need to, if you're wanting to double it. But they're the one thing where you're just better off to stick to the quantities. Just otherwise, you don't seem to get the brown effect as well. So I know some people will make this one and they double the beef. It's only 350 grams of beef. So for that step, they cook their beef, they pull it out and throw another lot in. They just press back and redo that step again as an alternative to double up this recipe. All right. So while this is going, I'm just going to click up here and have a look at my recipe. So the next thing that we are putting in is 350 grams of beef. Now, this calls for beef fillet. Depending on what you like, how you want this to be cooked, it cooks it in a pretty quick time. So your higher cuts of meat are going to give you the most tender, nicest results. However, work your way down and see what fits you the best. A Scotch fillet, and I feel they're going to give you a lovely beef stroganoff, but they may not be economical for a big family either. So work out what suits you. I'm actually just using a round steak tonight, but it's from a beef that we've had on the farm. I know, like, even though it is technically a round cut, I know it's still going to be really nice. Depending on where you're getting your meat for. So that's something just for you to play around with when you make this one. Just bear in mind that it is a pretty quick cook time. It isn't a slow cooked one, so a higher cut of meat does generally give you a better result. Now, with this recipe, I'm going to take the splash guard off, put my measuring cup in, and we're going to chop that onion up. So you saw how the chunk onion's in big quarters? That's so that it gets a nice browning effect. The onion browns better when it's in bigger chunks, but who wants big chunky onion in their beef stroganoff? I don't. So now we have a chance to just chop it up. So if I go around there, this is just going to chop it up. Oh. All right, so let me grab my spatula out. All right, I'm going to scrape this one down. I'm going to give that another little quick chop up. Want it a little bit more, cut a bit finer. So I'm sure that most of you guys would know, but if you're wanting to adjust your recipes, you can just click back a step as I did then and just redid that step to get that bit extra time. But the other option is just to click on your home button, click on your speed, and just do it manually that way as well. And then you just click straight back into your bookmark and it takes you back up to that step. So adjusting your recipes, adding extra chop time, cook time, it's really, really easy. So what we're going to do now is add in our beef. So I'm going to throw mine in. We're going to pop our splash guard back on. And we're going to start that sizzle mode again. Now this cooks for 7 minutes, so it's quite a long cook time. This is what's going to fully brown off all of your beef. So you'll see when I cook, I keep things pretty real for what it would be like if you're cooking in your house. This isn't a big official cooking class. It's just in my own home, so I try to make it suit me as well. So I don't have everything already prepped out and ready. But this is how I cook when I cook. I prep in between and the steps on the Thermomix does the work. So at this point now, I will need mushrooms to go in. And then I'll need some tomato paste, white wine, veggie stock paste, paprika, and all the other little things that go in. So this is calling here for 350 grams of button mushrooms cut into quarters. I'm not going to use button mushrooms. I'm going to use cauliflower instead. So this is going to be a beef and cauliflower stroganoff instead. So it'll be a little bit different. But I like to add some extra veggies in. I like to mix it up. I had plain beef and mushroom stroganoff last week. So this week I'm going to have beef and cauliflower. If you have a favourite ingredient or something, a combination that you would try with your stroganoff, pop it into the chat box and let us know. Awesome idea. I think it's pretty good. So I'm just going to cut these up. Remembering my mushrooms would have been in like quarters. So I'm sort of going to stick to that smallish sort of size. And I think this will give me a pretty good cut on, like a pretty good cook on my cauliflower, because I don't like it to be fully soggy. So your mushrooms don't have a long cook time. I think it'll be just about right with the cauliflower. If not, I can always give it a little bit extra time. I'm going to cut up these florets. So this dish, oops, having a look here. You're a stick to the recipe girl. You need to change it. Yes, be brave. Be brave and veer off the recipe. I love how forgiving the Thermomix is. You can really just throw anything in, have a go. It'll turn out. It'll be right. I very rarely stick fully to a recipe. Now this stroganoff is gluten-free stroganoff. Is there anybody on here tonight that has dietary requirements, whether it be gluten-free, dairy-free, any sort of diet that you follow, or are you vegetarian, anything like that? Please pop it into the, paleo, awesome. So this one, Temmie, I'm actually going to replace the sour cream with dairy. So I'm going to replace the dairy and just put coconut cream in instead. You can use the cashew cream. There's a cashew pouring cream in the Plant to Plate collection and Cookie Dough, which is awesome as well. It's a great alternative if you need, sour cream, yogurt, anything like that. But for this one, coconut cream goes beautifully in the beef stroganoff and makes it dairy-free as well. So this will tick all your paleo boxes. It does have a Dijon mustard, so you can just check your ingredients, for little things like that. But other other than that, that's really the only sort of processing that you're putting in. Now, I'm going to go with about that much cauliflower, and I'm going to add in, oh, okay, awesome. All right. And what have we got? Oh, there you go, Chrissy, you're a throw in and swap person too. It's the best way, hey. And dairy and gluten-free, awesome. Well, these 3 recipes that we're doing tonight will tick all those boxes. So paleo and yeah, dairy and gluten-free, which is pretty similar. So they're really, really good ones to do. Another good one is something like your creamy coconut chicken curry. It's the same thing. So it's dairy-free, it's gluten-free. You can make it veggie if you want to just sub in some like sweet potato or zucchini or something instead of the chicken. Really, really versatile. For those of you who, because they were the only dietary requirements, what are your favorite recipes that are paleo or dairy and gluten-free so far? And for everyone else, have you got any good standout recipes that meet that criteria? Pop them into the chat if you do. Now, what I'm doing here is just chopping up some beans. So I want to just add a little bit extra veggie into this one. So once my cabbage is on and steaming, I'm just going to throw these beans in up the top and let them just steam for a couple of minutes. I'm just going to bulk this out. Give me some extra veggies as well, and some nice greens. You love all the salads, yeah. So I'm going to do a beetroot salad tonight as well. I'm going to put a little twist on it. And then risotto verde. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's so nice. Now risottos, if you're looking for a dairy-free cheese for your risottos, or if you're a bit put off that there's butter, your risottos, things like your mushroom risotto, which uses a butter and an olive oil, just leave the butter out and just do all olive oil. It won't taste any different, and it will keep it dairy-free as well. And instead of a Parmesan cheese, you can get some nutritional yeast flakes, or just make some plant-based Parmesan. So again, in the plant to plate book, there's some awesome like plant-based recipes, and there's a plant-based Parmesan in there with not many ingredients in it, and it's beautiful, and it really legitimately tastes like Parmesan cheese. So it's a really, really good dairy-free alternative as well. And the dairy-free chocolate coconut custard. I actually saw that one tonight, Toya, and I thought, I have to put that on my list. I love that custard. All right. Beautiful. So all we're going to do now is scrape down the bowl here. Now, when you're using the high heat function, we've got your splash guard on, it's really important that you get down and you scrape the bottom of your bowl, because it's like when you're cooking in your fry pan, you actually get a bit of caramelization and a bit stuck on the bottom. And if you don't scrape that off, it's like if you never moved your meat around in your fry pan the whole time that you cooked your dinner, you'd get a burnt spot in different spots. So same thing will happen on your bottom of your Thermomix bowl. So make sure you just give it a little scrape around as you go. All right. So now we're going to add in our button mushrooms, in this case cauliflower. And I'm only 6 grams over, so that's a pretty good guess, hey? All right, 50 grams of tomato paste. I'm going to have 100 grams of white wine. Go. How nice are these little bowls? These are eco bowls. So as consultants, we earned these this week. I think, yeah, both Toya and Tennille earned these as well. So we all should have a little set of these eco bowls that we would arrive probably this week. So we use these like for our demos. So serving up dishes at our demos, prepping our ingredients, all that sort of thing. They're made out of bamboo and they're really, really nice. I think you'll be able to purchase them in the mix shop. I believe, but at this stage they've just been sent out to consultants as an incentive, but I really like them. All right, now we have this recipe calls for meat stock. Has anybody here made beef or chicken stock in their thermi? You should have all made veggie stock. Yeah, you have. Awesome. Anybody else? I always just make vegetable stock. We, as consultants, we use it a lot, send them out, like we take it to our demos and whatnot. We can only travel with veggie stock. So I always make veggie stock as a standard, but I am going to have to try the chicken or the beef, I think. I've heard lots of people saying that it has been really good. Yeah, Carissa, I do the same thing, but I think I'm going to have to break out and try it, I reckon. This is about a tablespoon of paprika. A pinch of salt. And a pinch of pepper. A little bit of mustard. And I love that this is all that's in this beef stroganoff. It's so simple. All that you need in there. Put your lid on. The aroma goes on top. I love the multi-layered cooking. So while that's cooking, your veggies are steaming up the top as well. And that's a 15-minute cook time there. So while that cooks away, oh, that's awesome, Toya. Yes, I'm going to have to get in and give it a go, I reckon. All right, so that is our beef stroganoff on and cooking. Now I'm going to get ready for our beetroot salad. So shuffle these things around. Now my beans here, I'm going to throw them in maybe when it gets to about 10 minutes, I reckon, because I don't want them to get soggy. I only want them just to be sort of just warmed up. Now, do any of you guys meal prep? Do you plan like sort of ahead, cook meals early, or are you all just cook on the spot sort of cooks? Drop into the chat box what you usually do at home. You plan ahead and cook meals up and have some ready to go. No, but wish you did. Well, something like this, Megan, would be the perfect thing for you to get you started. It's just one meal. Cook this. It's dairy-free, it's gluten-free, and then pop it into a couple of containers, and then that's your meal on up for a couple of days. Even if it's only you that likes it in the family, it would mean that you're at least eating healthy meals. Yeah, okay, awesome. All right, cool. Well, here's a little tip. So if you're somebody who likes to prep your things a little bit ahead, something like your beans or even like your cauliflower, broccoli, some of those softer sort of vegetables, you can actually leave them raw, and then when you reheat your meals, that'll be enough to actually just soften them up. So I'll often throw in extra beans, things like, your spinach and little bits of broccoli and cauliflower. I actually just throw them in at the end, maybe even put them in at the bottom of my containers. And then, yeah, when I reheat them, that's enough to actually soften them all up. And then you're still just getting those extra veggies in as well. It just makes it go a little bit further. Healthy sort of meal prep is something that I love to do. So I ran a few Zooms. I ran a few last year, and early this year we did cook-alongs. So everybody, we all jumped on and made, prepped up a couple of meals. So is that something you guys would like to do? All jump on Zoom and do some healthy meal prep together? Give me a reaction or something in the chat box. Yes, please. Awesome. And I'd be quite happy to go along the lines of dairy, gluten-free. if you plan your things out, you'll find you can jump, like if you have everything ready, you can pretty much jump on, cook like 3 or 4 dishes in about an hour or so. It's really, really quick once you actually, like, you just sort it out. You just jump on and go for it. So it's a really good way to do it. Get yourself organised, pick some recipes out, and then you just jump on and cook together for an hour and you've got a heap of meal prep done. So let me have a little look. Yeah, awesome. All right, cool. I'll organize another one for you guys. While we're on the topic of different things, is there anything else you guys would like? Is there certain classes that you would enjoy? And what do you guys think of a full cooking class? So Thermomix, and we haven't had a lot in the area over the last few years, but Thermomix Australia run like big full cooking classes where you book a ticket, there's sort of 30 or 40 people, and then we dish up and we do a theme, whatever it might be. It could be Indian or it could be healthy or whatever it would be, and we cook a big range of dishes. You see them all cooked, you get all the tips, and then you get to try them all. So we're currently in the plans of organising one of these for June. It'll be like a bigger official class. We do lots of workshops and things in between, but this would be sort of a bigger high-end cooking class. Would any of you guys be interested in coming along? And do you have any ideas of things you would like to see? Feasible school ideas? Yeah, awesome. Yes, okay, awesome, Tim. Yeah, well, we're in the process of organising one at the moment. We're looking at maybe June. So I think, yeah, it'll be a bit bigger than our little workshops, but I think it'll be really fun and you'll get to learn lots. Cool. All right, awesome. And we'll keep going with some little workshops as well. Toya is we're working on a Mother's Day workshop for you guys too. So keep your ear out if you're interested in that. All right, awesome to hear. Child wrangling, I love that. All right, so my beetroot salad is coming up next. So I need beetroot, I need an apple, about 100 grams of carrot. And again, I don't stick to my recipes at all. I love to leave the skin on my beetroot. I hate peeling beetroot for a start. And there's heaps of goodness in the skins of all of your veggies. So I hate the thought that we take it off all the time when that's where so much of the goodness is found. So leave the skin on my beetroot. I leave the ends on my carrots if they're not sort of too big. That's it. Yeah, it's also good where you can leave the skin on your veggies and your fruit. My opinion is always just leave it on. So this is your basis. So you're having carrot, beetroot, and apple as the basics of your beetroot salad. Who here's made the beetroot salad? It's really popular. It's something most of you guys have probably made. The recipe calls for some onion as well. I'm not going to throw the onion in. I don't like it in mine, so I'm just going to leave it out. Awesome. In the last couple of days in the fridge, that's great. And you other girls will have to try it. Even if you're not a fan of beetroot, give it a go because it's so sweet with that apple. It's absolutely delicious. I'm just throwing my beans in here. Just going to throw them up. All right. So I'm going to leave my onion out. I'm going to throw in some purple cabbage instead. So I'm just going to cut this sort of, stick to that same sort of size, so 2 to 3 sort of centimetre blocks. I'm going to throw, and I'm not really measuring myself, but just sort of throwing in some blocks of this. This really bulks it out, so sort of makes it like coleslaw a little bit, but it really bulks your salads out, and it'll take mine from like a 4-portion salad to like a 6-portion salad just by adding in some extra cabbage, or I can add in some savoy cabbage. I'm actually going to throw some beans in this as well. Depending on how you go with your raw veggies, you might not like raw green beans. Snow peas, sugar snap peas, things like that are a great alternative otherwise. But just throwing some extra things into your salads helps bulk them out and go a bit further. Now the dressing for this beetroot salad is just lemon juice, olive oil, salt and pepper. If you prefer like a more creamy salad, there's a broccoli salad which uses a yogurt dressing. So it's basically just like yogurt, salt, pepper, some lemon juice. But it makes it really creamy, quite decadent, like a creamy coleslaw. But it's just using yogurt, so it's quite good for you. And if you're dairy free, you can just use some coconut or cashew yogurt, and it does much of the same thing. So if you prefer a creamier salad, or if you're wanting to prep this for a couple of days, so this might be 4 different lunches, for example. You may want to add some yogurt in on day 3 and 4 as your salads are getting a little bit older. Stir a little bit of yogurt in or throw it all back in your Thermomix for a minute and just bulk it out with a little bit extra yogurt. It makes it nice and creamy, especially if your veggies are getting a little bit older. Right. A little bit here. Now, because I have 2 bowls, what I'm going to do is actually get my things all ready for this. So typically you would finish off your beef stroganoff and then you just start your next recipe, right? And start to put everything in. I'm not going to be weighing mine in exactly anyway, and I know what I'm having in it. So I'm just going to get these all ready in here. So it'll just be the top that I need to do. So if you're not familiar with this one, just search beetroot salad on Cookie Do. But basically, you're just popping in your beetroot, your carrot, your apple, your onion, bit of lemon juice, bit of salt and pepper, anything else that you want to sort of throw in. And it's about a speed 5 that it chops on. You can go for a speed 4 or a speed 4.5, depending on the cut that you like. But it makes a nice big, that's nearly 2 litres, that's nearly up to the max line. And the best thing about your vermi salads is that you can dress them as you go. So adding a little bit of salt and pepper on. If you are looking for some healthy lunch, especially, or dinner options, just pair this with some tuna or some salmon, or even just some steamed chicken or steak or anything like that, any sort of a protein. You can even add like chickpeas and feta into it as your serve or whatever it might be, but it's a great base and it makes such a nice lunch. It literally is only going to take you a couple of minutes to make, but it'll make up enough for a few days. All right, a bit of lemon juice. Right, and that is ready to go. So we've only got a few more minutes left on that beef stroganoff. Now, who on here has 2 bowls so far on the TM6? Let you guys put that into the chat box. I'm just going to grab my coconut creamer. There we go. Okay, so you got 2 machines, but only 1 bowl. So yeah, having a second TM6 bowl would be awesome. Who else? Does anyone else have a second bowl already? Toya has one. Oh, awesome. Cool. So you're going to keep, keep your old one so you have an extra one. That's cool. And Beck really wants a second bowl. A second bowl is super handy. And if you are into doing your meal prep or you're getting ready, and I love this in the terms of your healthier cooking, when you're prepping and getting things ready ahead. While this is cooking, if I wasn't sure about my beetroot salad, I can bring the scales up, pop this on top, get my scales. hit my scales, and I can just weigh my next recipe out while this is cooking and virtually have it ready to go. So it makes that meal prep so quick. And you can, like, if you're having a dessert or something, it just means you can have everything in there ready to go. If you're really busy, like if you have, if you're off to work, you can even prep like your veggies and your first 2 ingredients, just have them sitting in your bowl and put your bowl in the fridge. When you come home, click your bowl on, turn the wheel, and you already got dinner started. It takes you 10 seconds. So a second bowl is awesome. Also for things like any of your milling, you need some almond meal, you need some cashew butter, whatever it might be. I was halfway through a chicken curry last night at a demo and realized I don't have any almond meal. I was just able to swap in a bowl, 10 seconds, have almond meal, and keep going with it. So that second bowl for that interchangeability and convenience is absolutely awesome. Just not having to stop, and probably drying your bowls the hardest thing when it comes to your milling. You need to have that really dry bowl. Even just, grating cheese and then doing something else. It's awesome to have that interchangeable one. Is there anyone else on here who would like to get a second bowl, ideally? I love it too. I couldn't understand why. Yeah, no, you can't live without it. I'm the same. I went from a TM31 to the old one that had like not digital at all to a TM5. I signed up as a consultant to earn myself TM5, and I had it, and they were raving about a second bowl, and they're raving about the TM6, and I'm like, no, this machine's just awesome. I'm set with this. I don't have room for all that. And now I have 2 TM6s. I have 3 bowls between them, and I don't know what I'd do without them. It is so quick and easy to cook and do everything. The TM6 is a bigger bowl than your TM31. Yeah. It's only about 200 mils bigger, but it's the shape of it just helps to, like, say your beetroot salad and things, that just chops so much better. And even just your blending and pureeing, it just seems to, that rounder shape at the bottom just seems to chop and just work a lot better. Remembering that there's about 15 years between the 31 and the 6, so a lot of technology advancement in that time. All right, so this one is done. So take this off. Now you can see, let me get a fork out and show you guys. So you can see how this is, like, it's wilted. So it is really like pasta consistency. And those beans are just steamed enough. They're a little bit crunchy still, but they have gone nice and soft. So this is going to work perfectly. So that was about 10 minutes that I put those beans in for. Now the recipe asks for 100 grams of sour cream. So like I said, I'm going to use coconut cream so that mine's dairy free. Have any of you guys who are dairy free, have you ever made coconut yogurt in your Thermi or cashew yogurt? Tell me if you've just upgraded from your 31. Coconut yogurt in your TM6 is amazing, and it is so easy to do. You ferment it up in your Varoma, and you can just sit it up there for like 8, 10, 24 hours, however long you need. It's so much cheaper to make it yourself, and it's delicious. And again, you control exactly what's in it. You're not getting all those additives that are in your store-bought coconut yogurt. If you're looking for a dairy-free one, the cashew yogurt, have a look. It's on Cookie Do. Beck has. I know she's tried it. I'm not sure she's tried it she came to our yogurt workshop. I'm not sure whether she's actually made it herself or not. But yeah, your cashew yogurt is another really good one. So it's very similar, but you just you make like the cashew cream and then ferment it into a yogurt. It's very different, but it's actually really, really nice. It's nice and creamy. It sets really thick. It's a great alternative, and especially if you've gone from having dairy to not being able to have dairy, it's nice to have another alternative, try something else other than just your coconut yogurt all the time. So it's really easy one to give it a go. All right, finish off this one. So we're just going to stir this through. So that's our beef strog with cauliflower. That cauliflower looks so good. Yum. All right, so stirring that through. And that's it. It's ready to go. So that's my beef stroganoff. You can see the cauliflower has broken up a little bit. It isn't in full florets. You could probably leave it a little bit bigger if you wanted to, but it certainly is still nice and chunky. And the beef is the same. Just cut it as chunky or as small as you would like. All right, and what have we got? Oh, awesome. That's really good to hear, Beck. I'm stoked that one worked out for you. No, we were talking about that at the yogurt workshop. Alrighty, so that's our beef stroganoff done. So we've got beef strog there, I've got some extra beans, and then a whole beef and cauliflower stroganoff. And how simple, just love the simplicity of that with no ingredients. If you go and buy, most of you guys probably don't, but if you go out and buy a jar or a packet of beef stroganoff mix, there are so many extra things in there. Just to be able to make that out of your staple ingredients and have it taste that good and just be so easy is incredible. All right, so I'm going to jump back in here. And I'm just going to bring up this beetroot salad recipe. So for this recipe, you're going to weigh everything in and then you just literally just chopping it up. So if I go through, what does this one says? Speed 5 for 5 seconds. All right, now I'm going to give that. So 5 seconds for that salad. Bearing in mind that I added in quite a little bit extra. We're still a little bit chunky at the top. So I'm just going to give that a little scrape down. If you stick exactly to the quantities in this, then 5 seconds is usually enough. I always have to give mine an extra couple of seconds to let those top things chop down. Put that back on. And I'm just going to do this manually. I see that on speed 4, so it's still staying nice and chunky, but it's going to get, chop all of those big pieces up as well. So depending on your chopped salads, if you're having lots of Thermi salads, toggle between like a 5, 5.5 and like a speed 4. And you get a really, really different chop. So you give it sort of 3 or 4 seconds on a speed 4 and you get a really nice chunky salad. Whereas a 5 or a 5.5, you're ending up with it more like a real chopped grated salad. So if you're going to be having lots of Thermi salads, it's nice just to mix them up. Sometimes have a chunky one, sometimes have something different. But there is your chunky salad. So it's nice and bulked up. It's picked all of those pieces up. This is because I've just done that one on speed 4. I've got some bigger chunks in there, some smaller pieces, and that is dressed and ready to go. So I'm going to portion mine up. This will be lunches or dinners for me. I'll do probably 5 serves out of my salad, and I'll just open a can of salmon, and that'll be my lunch and dinner for the next couple of days. And I'll also have my beef stroganoff as well, which will make that serves 4. So might even get 5 serves out of it. And then I've got a stack of meal prep done. We've been on for not quite an hour. I've talked and demonstrated and done all things in between, and I've got a heap of meals ready for myself. So your healthy meal prep really isn't hard, and it's so worth just doing it yourself and doing it at home. So I would like to hear from you guys. What did you think? What did you like? Was there anything that stood out to you, anything that surprised you, anything you want to go away and try? Did we give you any inspiration? Pop something into the chat box. We are running a bread making workshop. You'll try all of them. Awesome. That's great to hear. Beautiful. We are running a bread making class this week, and we also have another quick and easy Zoom like this one coming up next weekend as well, which is saving money. Okay, saving money with Thermomix. So it'll be all around ways to cut costs, take down your grocery bills and all that sort of thing. there. But our bread making one will be one to watch as well. We're not going to do it face to face this month, just with the floods and everything going on. We've decided to keep all virtual for April, but we will be back with a Mother's Day workshop face to face in May, and then the plan is a big cooking class probably in Taree for June. So that sort of is our plan moving forward. If you would like, or you like the look of what we're doing, please come and join our team. We are busting for more consultants. We love to help you guys, inspire you. You can see that being a consultant doesn't mean now that you have to be leaving your home 3 or 4 nights a week to go out and do demos. It means you can jump online, inspire people, cook your own meals. You can mix it up. Are you interested, Tammy? Awesome. That's good to hear. That's awesome. But so we are absolutely busting for some more people to join. There is such a need, in my opinion, and in what I really want is that I really feel there is just so many homes in our area that don't cook. They cook out of a packet, they buy takeaway, they don't know how to cook, they don't have the skills, they don't have the want. And it breaks my heart to see that there's a generation now, my generation of growing up, most of them can't cook, don't know how to, don't care. And it's a real shame. There's, growing obesity rates, the world's going I really feel, I know it might sound silly, I'm just working in direct sales, but I really feel that a Thermomix can completely change a home, completely change a family, get kids cooking, and really change that whole curve of people not realizing what's in their food and just cooking out of a packet. So something I'm super passionate about. If that resonates with you, or you think, this looks good, I would love to have you join the team. So please, I'd love to have a chat with you if you're interested, even if it's not now, if it's down the track, whatever it might be. It is such a versatile business to run at the moment. So it is, yes, exactly, Carissa. It's crazy now to think your kids are going to school with a whole lunchbox just full of packets. That's it, packets and a sandwich. It's really crazy. Mine are only just in preschool, so I'm not sort of seeing the full school, but even just seeing that, I'm like, wow, people just not cooking for their kids. Kids don't know how to cook. Kids don't eat veggies. It's just, it's going in a really scary way. So yeah, I'd love to just see more homes changed by Thermomix, more kids involved in cooking, and more people just getting back to the basics, just cooking a meal at home and eating it together, rather than it just being so disjointed and it being takeaway and packet meals all the time. So that is my little vision for the area. I'd love to just see it grow and get more people eating good food at home. But thank you guys for jumping on. What about a kids cook along? What do you think? Would it work best to do it virtually from home, Carissa? Or is that something that you'd like to bring kids along to? I'm open to suggestions for whatever it might be. Home is good. Yeah, I think we can definitely do that.